After 5 years together, my fiancée told me I was husband material because I wasn't making enough money yet, dumped me for a wealthy tech entrepreneur, and said she needed a man who could provide a future worth bragging about. I worked on myself, built a career, bought a home, found a woman who truly loved me, and got married. Now my ex is broke, her rich boyfriend left her, and she's been trying to win me back, but her messages are read by my wife. My name is Ethan Hale, and until last year I thought my life would follow a predictable path. Finish my software engineering degree, marry my college sweetheart, buy a small house in Seattle, and build a quiet life together. For 5 years, that vision had a name. Her name was Brianna. We met during our sophomore year at the University of Washington. I was the quiet scholarship kid who worked part-time in the campus IT department. She was a marketing major with a loud laugh and an energy that could make an empty room feel alive. She noticed me first, which shocked both of us. She always said I was her project, the introverted guy she wanted to bring out of his shell. At first, it felt flattering. Now, looking back, that should have been the red flag. The beginning, or what I thought was a beginning. Brianna liked to be seen. I liked to stay in the background. In college, that worked. She loved being the star of everything: group presentations, club events, social gatherings. I didn't mind being the guy behind the camera, or the one who drove us home after she got tired of dancing. For 5 years, we built a life together, shared an apartment, shared plans, shared dreams. Every time I doubted myself, she said, "You're going to be amazing one day. I just know it." And I believed her. The changes started when she joined a marketing firm in downtown Seattle, the ones with insane office views and catered lunches, the kind of place filled with people who said things like, "Network equals net worth." Suddenly, appearances mattered. Suddenly, I mattered less. Meanwhile, I was working at a small local tech support company while applying to software engineering roles. The market was competitive, and I didn't want to jump into a job I hated just for money. Brianna didn't say anything negative at first. Instead, she started dropping hints. "Chelsea's boyfriend makes 6 figures already. We should start thinking about a bigger apartment soon. You're so smart. Imagine how attractive you'd be once you get your career sorted out." Attractive? Like I wasn't already. She started wearing more designer clothes, posting pictures with coworkers I'd never met, leaving hearts under photos of people I didn't know. When I confronted her once, she smiled and said, "Relax, Ethan, it's networking." I told myself to trust her. Around Christmas, I proposed. We were sitting outside overlooking the Seattle waterfront, fairy lights, hot cocoa, snow. I was shaking so hard I dropped the ring box. She cried. She screamed. She kissed me like we were in some kind of movie. We went home that night planning our future. She said, "Ethan, we're going to have the perfect life." I believed that too. For a while. It was early spring when everything shifted. She asked if we could grab dinner at a rooftop restaurant with some people from work. Those people were Tyler Langford, a startup founder with a smug smile, his wealthy friends, and a bunch of Brianna's coworkers who kept talking about investments, crypto portfolios, and vacations in Maui. Tyler asked me what I did, and when I told him my current tech support job, he nodded slowly. Like I told him, I washed car windows under the freeway. Brianna laughed awkwardly and quickly changed the subject. That was the first time I saw her ashamed of me. On the drive home, she said, "You need to think bigger, Ethan." I told her I was trying, that job searching was stressful, that I wanted stability. She replied, "Stability is for people who settle." I didn't argue, I should have. 2 weeks later, I found out Brianna had been going to happy hour networking events with Tyler. Just her and him. When I confronted her, she waved me off. We're just talking business. He's teaching me how to build my personal brand. I didn't know then that personal brand was code for I like attention from richer men. The night everything fell apart was on our 5th anniversary. I had planned a quiet celebration at home, homemade dinner, a scrapbook of our memories, wine, the whole Pinterest boyfriend starter pack. She came home 3 hours late. Hair messed up, smelling like expensive whiskey. I asked where she was. She didn't look at me when she said it. "Ethan, you're holding me back." I thought I misheard. "What?" She finally looked at me, not with love, not even with anger, just disappointment. "You're not husband material yet. I need someone who's already there." She told me I was too slow in life, that she needed someone who could provide a future she could brag about. Then she said the sentence that burned into me forever. "You're not enough, not for me." And she left. Just like that. 5 years together, and she walked out like she was ending a phone call. She moved out within a week. Moved in with Tyler. I spiraled. I'm not going to pretend I didn't. Nights blurred. I stopped eating. I kept replaying her words in my head. "You're not husband material. You're not enough." My best friend, Jard, practically dragged me out of bed every day. He told me, "If someone needs you to be rich to love you, they don't love you." I didn't believe him then. But eventually, pain turns into fuel. And that's exactly what happened. 2 things happened in the same week. I landed an interview at a rising tech company in Seattle. Jard convinced me to start going to the gym with him. The gym became therapy. Coding became purpose. I worked relentlessly. Within months, I got the job. I started earning more. I got promoted. For the first time in years, I felt proud of myself. Not because someone validated me, because I earned it. That's when I met Lily, a UX designer on my team. Funny, down to earth, brilliant, supportive. She liked me before the promotions, before the salary jumps, before the revenge began writing itself. But that part comes later. Because the universe. It wasn't done yet. 6 months after Brianna walked out of my life, I barely recognized myself anymore. Not emotionally, physically. Jard had dragged me to the gym every morning at 6 a.m., no excuses. The guy who could barely bench the bar was suddenly seeing muscle definition in the mirror. My jawline sharpened. I stopped looking like a tired college kid and started looking like a man who gave a damn about himself. I didn't post about it on social media. I wasn't trying to impress anyone. But the silence about my progress was louder than bragging ever could be. The tech company I joined, Thorn Dynamics, wasn't just a job, it was a turning point. I was hired as a junior software engineer. The team was collaborative, the environment supportive, and the pay was enough to breathe again. I thrived. There was something about being underestimated for so long that made me dangerous when given opportunity. I devoured documentation, took online certifications, stayed late to solve bugs others didn't have patience for. 3 months later, my manager called me into his office. "I want to move you to a product planning role. You think like a leader." He gave me a raise. A big one. It was the first time I realized. Not being enough for Brianna did mean I wasn't enough. It meant she wasn't the one meant to see my potential. Lily joined the UX team shortly after my promotion. She was the kind of person who didn't need a room to notice her. She made people feel seen. Her voice was soft but confident, her sense of humor dry and unexpected. She didn't gossip, didn't brag, didn't play office games. The first time we worked together was during a sprint planning session. She leaned toward me over her laptop, pointing at a mock-up. If we adjust the user flow here, onboarding time decreases by 17%. I blinked. You calculated that in your head. She grinned. I like numbers when they behave. We became friends. Slowly, naturally. She brought me coffee without asking how I took it, and somehow always got it right. No forcing. No pushing. Just connection. Which terrified me. Brianna was updating Instagram like her life depended on it. Pictures with Tyler at fancy restaurants. Pictures in his Tesla. Pictures overlooking Seattle from his high-rise condo. Every caption read like a middle finger to who she used to be. Leveling up. Choose a man who invests in you. We don't settle for potential, only results. The irony. Everyone comments on social media when they're trying to prove they're happy. People who are actually happy don't feel the need to announce it. I didn't interact. I didn't watch her stories. But her name popping up in my suggested feed was a small reminder of a world I no longer belonged to. And then, one morning, I woke up to a message request. Hey. Just 3 letters. No explanation. No apology. No acknowledgement. I stared at it for a long time. Jard walked into the kitchen and saw my expression. Don't you dare block that emotional raccoon. I wasn't planning to respond. Good trash belongs in one place outside. I didn't block her. Not yet. I wasn't angry anymore. I was curious. Thorn Dynamics hosted an annual winter gala. Employees brought dates. I didn't plan to bring anyone, and Lily didn't either. But then she asked, "You're going to the gala, right?" I shrugged, hadn't thought about it. She tilted her head. "You should. You work too hard to disappear." That night, I stepped into a tailored navy suit Jard forced me to buy. Lily wore a deep emerald dress that made her look like a walking miracle. Every head turned when she entered the room. But she walked straight to me. "You clean up nicely, Ethan." My pulse misfired. The night was effortless. We talked, laughed, danced. At one point, she rested her head lightly on my shoulder. It wasn't romantic, it wasn't rushed. It was safe. I didn't know how badly I needed safe. Brianna posted another photo. Her and Tyler on a yacht. Caption: "When you choose right, life gets easier." Her messages to me increased. "Are you still in Seattle? I've been thinking about you. We should catch up." I never responded. Let silence do the talking. Months later, the crash begins. Brianna's posts changed. Less flashy dinners. More inspirational quotes. Then, no Tyler in photos. Then, no yacht photos. Then, a selfie with a caption that screamed desperation. You can be surrounded by people and still feel alone. Her messages shifted tone. "We need to talk. I made a mistake. Please." Still, I didn't respond. Revenge isn't loud. Revenge is quiet confidence. Revenge is glowing up without needing applause. Revenge is letting someone live with the realization that they threw away something valuable. One Saturday morning, Jard asked, "Do you regret it, losing her?" I thought about it. "No," I said. "I only regret how small I made myself to keep her comfortable." I didn't plan to see Brianna again. But Seattle is smaller than it feels. Lily and I were grabbing coffee before a product meeting. We walked out laughing about something stupid. I don't even remember what, and that's when I saw her. Brianna, standing in line, hair frizzy from the rain, wearing business clothes that didn't fit her like they used to. She froze when she saw me. Her eyes scanned me, hair, posture, clothes, processing the unexpected transformation. Then Lily slipped her hand into mine. Not to show off. Just naturally. Lily looked at Brianna and whispered, "Friend of yours?" "No," I said gently, "not anymore." Brianna swallowed hard. "Ethan, can we talk?" Lily squeezed my hand. "I'll wait outside." I nodded. Brianna stepped closer, voice trembling. "You look different." "I feel different." She fidgeted with her bag. Things with Tyler ended. He wasn't who I thought. I didn't respond. She tried again. "I miss what we had." I looked right at her. "You didn't want what we had. You wanted what I could become." She blinked, stunned. "I made a mistake." I nodded. "I'm glad you realized it." She reached out, barely touching my arm. "Ethan, can we start over?" I stepped back. "No, I'm already building a life, with someone who chose me before the success." Brianna's face crumbled. Lily came back inside, slipped her arm around me gently. "Ready?" I smiled at Lily, the kind of smile that only exists when a person sees your worth without conditions. "Yeah, let's go." We walked out together. Behind us, Brianna's voice cracked. "I didn't think you move on so fast." I turned one last time. "You didn't think I'd move on at all." Lily and I didn't start dating immediately. We built something quieter, steadier, and far more meaningful than anything I had ever experienced. She saw me. Not the future version of me. Not the potential of me. Just me. One evening after work, we stayed late in a conference room, finishing a design sprint. The office was mostly empty, the kind of silence that makes every breath feel louder. She looked at me over her laptop. "You know," she said softly, "you're a different person outside of work." I raised an eyebrow. "Different how?" "At work you're confident, efficient, focused, but outside," her eyes studied me carefully, "you're gentle, thoughtful, a little guarded." Her accuracy shook me. "Everything I went through," I said slowly, "it made me feel like being vulnerable was a weakness." "It's not," she whispered. "It's the strongest thing someone can be." It didn't feel like flirting. It felt like understanding. Over the next few weeks, our routine became constant. Coffee in the morning. Brainstorming during lunch. Walking to the bus stop together afterward. It was subtle. Soft. Comfortable. One rainy evening, I offered her a ride home instead of letting her stand at the bus stop soaking wet. She hesitated before getting in, like she was silently asking herself if this was crossing a line. But once she sat down, she exhaled like she felt safe. That was the beginning. We didn't rush anything. We didn't force anything. Sometimes she edited my code suggestions. Sometimes I helped debug her prototypes. Sometimes we sat in silence, just appreciating being near someone who didn't demand anything from us. One late night, after we finished a giant release, Lily leaned her head on my shoulder as we waited for the elevator. "You make me feel calm," she murmured. And that's when it hit me. I had spent years trying to impress someone who made me anxious, and only months learning to breathe beside someone who felt like peace. We weren't dating yet. We were becoming inevitable. Around that same time, my career reached a turning point. Our company launched a new product, one that I had been deeply involved in. During the presentation, my manager introduced me to the CEO. "This is Ethan. He's the one who pushed the build over the finish line." The CEO shook my hand. "You're sharp. I'd like to talk about moving you into a leadership track." A leadership track. 6 months earlier, Brianna said I wasn't husband material. Now the CEO of a growing tech company was saying I was leadership material. Life is funny like that. The promotion came with a significant salary bump. Overnight, my income nearly doubled. I signed the promotion paperwork with a hand that shook, not from nerves but from disbelief. The best part wasn't the money. It was that I earned it without having to pretend to be someone else. I didn't tell Brianna. I didn't need to. But she found out anyway. A coworker of hers apparently saw our product launch video on LinkedIn and mentioned it to her. No surprise, shortly after, her messages changed tone again. "You seem to be doing really well. I'm proud of you. I've been thinking about the life we planned. I miss your stability. Tyler wasn't stable." Notice the wording. She didn't miss me. She missed the stability. One night she sent a longer message. "I know I hurt you. I was stupid. I thought Tyler was the future, but he wasn't who I thought. You were always the better man." There was a time I would have killed to hear those words. Now they felt empty. I didn't reply. Lily and I eventually crossed the line from friends to something more. It was a Friday night, long after most of the office had gone home. We were sitting on the stairs overlooking the lobby of the building, eating takeout from a little Thai place. She was telling me about her childhood, how she moved around constantly due to her dad's work, how she always felt like she never belonged anywhere. "I hate unstable things," she admitted. "Jobs, relationships, even furniture. I keep everything the same way once I like it." "That's the opposite of me," I said. She smiled. "That's probably why I feel safe with you." Then she added, barely above a whisper, "You don't feel temporary." I didn't think, I just reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. We sat like that, hands intertwined. The world dissolved into a quiet space where the past didn't matter and the future didn't feel scary. When we kissed for the first time, it wasn't electricity. It was gravity. Two people finally landing where they were meant to be. A few weeks into dating, she asked, completely unaware of my past, "Have you ever been engaged?" I inhaled sharply, "Yeah." "What happened?" "She wanted a different life," I said simply. "And you do too?" she asked. "No, I just wanted someone who wanted me." She kissed me gently then. "Well, I'm here." That night I blocked Brianna. Not to hurt her. To finally close the chapter. She didn't deserve access to the man I was becoming. Life kept rising. Within a year I purchased my first home, a beautiful townhouse in Seattle overlooking the water. My career was stable, fulfilling. Lily practically lived with me at that point. We cooked dinners together, worked late nights together, fell asleep on the couch together. I had found a partner. Not someone who evaluated my potential. Someone who valued my presence. A year and a half after that coffee shop encounter, I proposed to her on a small pier overlooking the glowing city skyline. She cried. I cried. Jard cried from behind a tree because he was secretly filming. We got married 6 months later. The wedding was small. Warm. Intimate. Real. No show. No flexing. Just love. A few weeks after the wedding, Lily was sitting beside me on the couch while I was going through some old messages on my laptop. She leaned over me to kiss my cheek when she paused. A name popped up on the screen. Brianna. Not another message, a wall of messages, paragraphs, pleading, apologies written like confessions. I should have chosen you. You were the best thing in my life. I missed the version of myself I was when I was with you. Then the last message. Can we meet just to talk? Lily didn't react with jealousy or insecurity. Just a calm, curious expression. She's been messaging you, she asked. She messaged me for months, I admitted. I never responded. She took my laptop gently, read a few lines, then closed it. You don't owe your past anything, she said softly. I know, I replied. But then Lily did something unexpected. She reopened the laptop, clicked on the message thread and typed a reply. From my account. Ethan is married. Please do not contact him again. His wife. She hit send. No anger. No drama. Just finality. She set the laptop aside, sat down on my lap, curled her arms around my neck and whispered against my jaw. You don't need to look back when the future is looking right at you. The message wasn't petty. It was closure. That night, as Lily fell asleep against my chest, her hand resting on my heart, I realized something. I had spent years chasing validation from someone who never truly saw me. When I finally stopped chasing it, love found me. Not because I had changed. Not because I became successful. But because someone finally loved the version of me that already existed. Weeks later, Brianna sent one final message, short, defeated, the last ember of a dying fire. I hope she gives you everything I couldn't. I didn't reply. There was nothing left to say. I closed the laptop, wrapped my arm around my wife and whispered into her hair. She already has. The courtroom was packed on the final day. The air felt heavy, like everyone could sense that whatever happened next would change lives permanently. Evelyn stood in the witness box. Her voice was shaky at first, but she held herself together. I didn't want revenge, she said. I wanted the truth. I wanted to stop running from what they took from me. Across the room, Marcus shifted uncomfortably. His once expensive suit hung awkwardly, as if he no longer fit into the life he'd built on lies. Next to him sat Cassandra, clenching her jaw so tightly it looked painful. The judge reviewed the evidence quietly. Pages of falsified documents, recordings, and the financial transfers Marcus tried to hide overseas. And on top of that, Cassandra's emails to Marcus confirming their plans to force Evelyn into an agreement that would have left her powerless. The judge cleared his throat. Marcus Hale, the judge said, you are found guilty of fraud, coercion, and criminal breach of fiduciary duty. Cassandra Drew, you are guilty of conspiracy. Evelyn didn't breathe. Marcus's face drained of color. You will both face sentencing, the judge continued, and restitution of financial damages to Ms. Evelyn Carter. Marcus exploded. This is insane. That's my company. She didn't do anything. She just got lucky. No, Evelyn said, standing. I stopped being scared of you. Security stepped forward and Marcus was handcuffed. Cassandra shouted, blaming him, blaming Evelyn, blaming everyone but herself. Marcus was escorted out while shouting threats that no one listened to anymore. When the door shut behind them, the courtroom fell silent. Evelyn felt a weight leave her chest, years of pressure, nights of crying alone, the humiliation of being betrayed by the man she once trusted. It was gone. After court, Alex, Evelyn's childhood best friend, waited outside. He had been her anchor throughout this entire chaos. Every text message, every late-night call, every proof and clue she uncovered, he had been there. You did it, he said softly. We did it, she replied. They walked out into the sunlight. Reporters swarmed, cameras flashing, but the noise felt distant. Instead of chaos, Evelyn felt something she hadn't in years. Peace. Weeks later, Evelyn stood in her new office, at the largest community legal aid foundation in the state. After the trial, she was offered a leadership role to help reform business protections for small founders. She turned her pain into purpose. There was a knock on the door. Alex leaned in. Hey, the board wants you downstairs. They're about to announce the new scholarship program in your name. Evelyn blinked. In my name. You helped change the law. You earned it, he said, smiling. She felt her eyes water, not from sadness but from fullness. Evelyn walked down to the lobby, where she was greeted by applause and gratitude from people she had never met. They saw her not as a victim, not as someone who was taken advantage of, but as someone who fought back and changed things for others. Later that evening, as she and Alex sat outside on a rooftop overlooking the skyline, he gently nudged her shoulder. "Feels like closure?" he asked. "It feels like a beginning," she answered. Alex looked at her, not with pity, not with pressure, but with admiration. "You know," he said, "there's something you taught me throughout all of this." "What's that?" "That no matter what someone tries to take from you, nobody can steal who you become." Evelyn smiled, watching the city lights sparkle. "And nobody can steal peace when you finally choose yourself." She exhaled. No more fear, no more running, no more shadows of the past. Justice, closure, freedom. And Evelyn walked into her new future, smiling.